It was a normal night in Japan. The year was 2004. Hasam II finished her work late. She was tired, she just wanted to go home. So she went to the train station. She got on the last train of the night. The train was almost empty. A few other people were sleeping in their seats. The train started moving. Click, clack, click, clack. Hasam II looked out the window. She saw the familiar lights of the city. She closed her eyes for a little while. After a few minutes, something felt strange. The train was not stopping. Tonight, it just kept going. Hasam II opened her eyes and looked around. The map showed all the stations. The small light showing the train's location was off, broken. She went back to her seat, scared. The train started to slow. The train was moving very fast. She looked out the window again. The city lights were gone. She checked her watch. 20 minutes had passed. A small feeling of worry started to grow. Where was this train going? Hasam II stood and walked to the door. The other passengers slept on. She felt like the only one awake in a dream. The familiar world disappeared behind her, replaced by a deep, unsettling mystery. She watched, waiting for the next stop. The train traveled for what felt like hours. It moved through a long, dark tunnel. When it finally came out of the tunnel, it began to slow down again. Hasam II looked out the window. She saw a platform. She hoped this time it would be a place she knew. The doors slid open with a soft hiss. The air that came in was cold. It smelled of wet earth and old wood. It was a very strange smell for a train station. Hasam II looked at the station sign. The name was written in old-style Japanese letters, katakana. It said Kisaragi Station. Kisaragi. The name itself sounded strange and old. She looked around the platform. It was completely empty. There were no people. There were no station staff. There was only a single wooden bench. An old-fashioned clock hung on the wall. The station looked like it was from a different time, a different era. She felt a strong sense of danger. She knew she should not get off the train. But then, a terrible thought entered her mind. What if this was the last stop? What if the train went back into the darkness and left her here forever? The fear of being trapped on the train was stronger than the fear of the empty station. She had to make a choice, and she had to make it fast. The doors were still open. She could hear a faint bell ringing somewhere. She had to decide now. With her heart pounding in her chest, she took a deep breath. She stepped off the train and onto the cold, empty platform of Kisaragi Station. As soon as her feet touched the ground, the train doors closed behind her. With a loud noise, the train started to move away. Hasam II watched it go. She was all alone. The silence was absolute. There was no sound of the city, no cars, no people. She stood there, frozen, realizing she had made a terrible mistake. Hasam II took out her phone. It was her only connection to her world. She opened her browser and typed Kisaragi Station. She waited as the screen loaded. No results found. She rechecked her spelling and tried again. Still nothing, like a secret place hidden from everyone. Her hope turned to fear. She decided to call for help. First, the police. "I'm lost at a station called Kisaragi," she told them. The officer was confused and asked her to repeat the name. He said there was no station with that name and thought it a prank. She called her parents. They were worried and searched, but found nothing. They told her to look for a taxi. They told her to look for a public phone. But there was nothing. The station was completely deserted. There was only the old wooden bench and strange silent buildings. She felt isolated, as if she'd stepped into another dimension. She walked around the small station. The buildings were dark and locked. The windows were covered in dust. The air grew colder. Strange noises came from the surrounding woods. It sounded like drums. She was scared. She was alone. She posted on a forum typing, "I am on a train, but something is weird." Replies started to appear. Some thought she was writing a story. Others were worried. They tried to help. They searched and found nothing. Kisaragi Station did not exist. Hasam II was truly lost in a place that was not on any map. She sat for a moment, then got up. She couldn't stay here. Following forum advice, she decided to move, to walk along the tracks back toward where the train came from. Her phone light was small against the dark. As Hasam II kept posting online, she suddenly heard a sound. It was this faint ringing, kind of like a small bell. The sound was coming from the direction of the dark tunnel where the train had come from. She looked into the pitch blackness and, well, she saw a small light. The light was slowly getting closer. The sound of the bell got louder and louder. A figure started to emerge from the tunnel. It was an old man, walking with a cane, and he was missing one of his legs. He walked slowly, step by step, right towards her. He looked at her with these empty eyes. The one-legged man didn't say anything at all. He just walked past her and disappeared into the darkness on the other side of the station. Hussam II was, honestly, terrified. The strange man made everything feel even more frightening. The people on the online forum told her to leave the station immediately. They told her to walk along the train tracks. It was dangerous, but staying felt worse. So she started walking along the tracks, back into the dark tunnel where the train had come from. She walked for what felt like a really long time. The tunnel was dark and super scary. She used her phone as a flashlight, and every little sound made her jump. After what felt like an eternity, she finally saw a light at the end of the tunnel. She started to run towards it. When she came out of the tunnel, she heard a car. A car was stopping nearby, and a man got out. He looked friendly enough. He asked her if she was okay. He asked her if she needed a ride. Hussam II was so relieved to see another person. She thought she was finally safe. She told him her story, and he listened carefully. He said he could drive her to a nearby town. The driver seemed nice, but something just felt off. The people on the online forum warned her, "Don't go with him." Hussam II was confused. Should she trust this man, or should she keep walking alone in the dark? The driver became more insistent. His voice was calm, but his eyes were intense. Hussam II was faced with a terrible choice. Stay alone in the terrifying darkness or get into a car with a complete stranger. The driver seemed to be getting impatient. He kept telling her to hurry. The people on the internet forum were honestly screaming at her through their messages. "Run! Don't get in the car!" But Hussam II was exhausted, cold, and scared out of her mind. The thought of a warm car was just too tempting. She made her decision. She wrote one last message on the forum. She told everyone that the driver seemed like a kind person. He was going to take her to the mountains. She thought that was strange, but she was just too scared to be alone anymore. Her final post was simple and honestly kind of chilling. It said, "My battery is almost dead. Things are getting strange, so I think I'm going to make a run for it." He's been talking to himself about strange things for a while now. "I'm going to try to escape. Thank you for everything." This was the last time anyone ever heard from Hussam II. After that final post, she just went silent. Her online account was never used again. Her family never saw her again. The police investigation went nowhere because they couldn't find any evidence that Kisaragi Station even existed. It was as if she had completely vanished from the face of the earth. The story of Hussam II and her journey to Kisaragi Station became a famous internet legend. People have debated it for years. Was it a true story? Or was it just a creative piece of fiction written on an online forum late at night? Many people believe that Hussam II accidentally boarded a train to another world, a different dimension that sometimes touches our own. They believe Kisaragi Station is a real place, but not in our reality. It's a gateway, a place between worlds. The strange one-legged man, the mysterious driver, they might have been guardians or inhabitants of that other world.